Okay, and in the last video we talked about colors and fonts, and this video we are going to talk about assets. So you are going to learn how to load up assets in your Flutter project. So assets are like images especially. So we'll talk about how to add an image to your Flutter project. So the first thing we need to do is to create a new dot file. So we're just going to say images.dart, and we create a stateless widgets and we call it image screen, and we import the material, and of course we are going to return a scaffold, which we just use the up bar from the previous screen and just paste it here, and we call it images. Now the whole idea is to use images on your in your widget. So what we should do is let's create a container that has a child and the center. Now we want to sort of have an image here. So what we are going to do is there is an image class where you have access to images. It's a widget that displays an image. So you have a couple of methods here. So you can use assets if the asset is local on your computer, or you can use file, or if it's in memory, or if it's in network. So let's use the network part. Do this for a while. All right, so we have the image of network. And what it means is that you have a couple of access to a couple of things here. So for now, we are just going to take note of the SRC, which basically means the source. So it's asking us that you want to load an image from the network, that is from online, and you want to show that in your Flutter app. Okay, so, and what is required here is to pass in a string, and this string will be an image URL. So I have an image URL of Star Wars here. So I'm just going to copy it. This URL will load up this image. And let's go ahead and pass that in URL here. So we have something like this. And once we save that, and let's go back to our main.dot file and link up our image screen so that it will load that. Now let's reload and look at how our app looks like. Okay, so we have the image here. It's loading from the network. That's fine. How about if you want to, you don't have the network image, you want to load it from your computer. So let's do something. We are going to remove image.network, and we're just going to use image.asset. And it's going to ask for a name, and we are going to pass in the name for the asset here. Okay, so to do that, we are going to go back to your prospect.yaml, and you can see a bit of instruction here. To add asset to your application, add an asset session. So we are going to Control K, Control U on your keyboard to remove the comments. And what we are going to do is to, in the root of your folder, we will create a new folder called assets. Make sure it's written as assets. And in this folder, let's create a new file and call it images. I mean a new folder, sorry. So create a new folder and call it images. Now this is where you are going to put in your images, local images. So I have a couple of images here that I have. So I'm just going to drag it and put it in the images folder. So this is it. Okay, so when I click on it, you can see from my images, assets to images to background. So I have access to that. So what you're going to do is to make sure you register this on your on your prospect.yaml file. So make sure you register every bit of image that you have dragged in there. So for now, let's do the first one. And let's save that. And there's a bit of problem. It's telling you that it does not exist. That means it does not know where images/pg/1 the JPEG is. So apparently you need to add the path to it. So we are going to do assets slash, and let's see. I think this is probably going to work. Okay, does not complain anymore. Okay, so you go back to our images screen and you make sure that you put in the URL as it is, the path of the image. So we have access images bg-1.jpg, the same way you put it in your prospect YAML file. And let's save that. And there will be a bit of an error here. So we are going to stop and we're going to run and debug again. Okay, so here it is. So we have access to that. You can see it's loading that correctly. Okay, now there's a little bit of problem. If you have 50 images, that means we have to register every bit of them. But there's another way you could do this. So instead of registering each image here, what you can do is to just register the path of the assets like this. So when you save that, you have access to every folder in the assets. So if you add more folders here, you have access to that. All right, there's a little bit of problem. You can't register the folder here, assets. So you need to register the folder where your images are. So if you have another folder here, and let's say you call it SVGs, for example, you need to register just that folder. So you end it with a / and you save. And in your images screen, let's go back there and let's change this to background 3. And yep, we have the image. Let's do background 2. And yep, we have the image. All right, so that's just for image or assets. There's another widget that you could use, and is the asset image. So let's look at that. So okay, so asset image is not a widget, so you can't use it like a widget. But what it does is that it creates an object that fetches an image from an asset bundle. Okay, so in future you will probably see where to use asset image but for now you can just use image.asset as we are talking about widgets. All right, so so far we'll be able to talk about image.assets, image.network, and image.file if you have a file that you already have, and image.memory, you can display image if you have the bytes and so on. All right, so that's it. Catch you in the next one. Bye.